Don't tell anyone inside this building that they're expecting a huge snowstorm, because they're all jam-packed in here. Melanie Moore in her 4th season as the head coach of Xavier, trying to get her team its first conference win on the road here. As we take a look at the starting lineups, they've had some changes. Xavier with injuries all year long. Courtney Pranger, the emotional leader. Meanwhile, for Geno Auriemma, he certainly understands all about injuries. Does not have Dorka Juhas tonight. Ankle injury in the win against DePaul. She came back and played, but will not play tonight.
And I would say a safe thing to sit her with the luck they've had this season.
The Big East tournament getting underway later this week. Huskies 17-2 in conference play this year. Xavier on an 18-game losing streak, tied for the longest in school history. Nika Mule's been hot for 3 of late. And the rebound comes down to Taylor Smith, the grad transfer from Ole Miss, who is a good shooter, just hasn't been able to get him to fall the last couple of weeks.
Right, she's got to continue to just take those shots as they come. And once you get to this point in the season, Jason, you've got to just let it roll.
Scarlett down to Pranger. As Julian said, the key for Xavier is to try and take a lot of time off the clock, but not allow transition. Mule, Lopez Senechal, the trailer. Offensive rebound, but Aaliyah Edwards brought it down and then the turnover.
And it's also going to have to do with a lot of rebounding. If you don't rebound against UConn, they're going to get it and run, and you'll see them execute easily.
73-37, UConn the win in Cincinnati earlier this year, back in January. Xavier has to get off to a better start, and it's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Musketeer basketball. You're wondering about the face mask for Aaliyah Edwards, the broken nose. There was a story back in October. She doesn't have to wear the mask anymore. She has been cleared to take it off.
But she's had such a good year with that thing on. She's going to keep it on. I would too.
Under 5 to shoot. Pranger trying to find a cutter. And back-to-back turnovers. Now it's a Huskies team. They lost last week at home to St. John's. It sent shockwaves throughout the conference. Multiple conference regular season losses for the first time in a decade. And then they had to gut one out at DePaul.
Coach Auriemma was talking about that. Listen, there were years past where you could lose a few and still win the conference tournament, and they're kind of coming back to that strength, that type of schedule you see in the Big East.
Her family in from France, her mom, her stepdad, her sister here.
I'm talking to Melanie Moore before the game. She told them to just really let it rip. You have nothing to lose, so go out, have fun, and play hard. Just compete.
It was Scarlett on the drive. Got it up in the air, but an offensive foul called. Edwards a little bit too hot on the pass for Aubrey Griffin. Again, no Dorka Juhas tonight. You know the story all year long with AZ Fudd, who they're hoping to get back for the Big East tournament. She was working out with the team today.
Hence why it's so incredible to see how well they've actually done, losing all these players that were potential player of the year type players, not just role players.
Ducharme has the first bucket, and they haven't played as well as they'd like down the stretch either. And it traveled.
But the defense is always going to be there, and that's important. You see the high pressure, the denial there from Aaliyah Edwards. And then on the other end, that creates an opportunity. And she was a player who thought she'd be more of a role-type player this year, who's just been their primary ball handler.
Good cut. Harris at the elbow. Just died on the rim and fell in. And a three-point ball game, 4 minutes in. Griffin in transition.
Smart decision, pull it out.
Ducharme for 3. Timeout, Xavier. And Aubrey Griffin is holding her wrist as well. Not what they want to see, but they're starting to find their rhythm.
Yeah, great passing, good transition game. The finish from Lou Lopez Senechal, and then Ducharme from distance knocks one down.
A team that has been dealing with injuries all season long doesn't want to see any more. And right before we went to break, we showed you Aubrey Griffin holding her right wrist. It looked like either it was on the catch or maybe on the swipe through where she hurt it with Linnea Harris.
Yeah, let's hope that she's okay. She has had just an incredible season. They cannot afford to lose one more player.
Fernanda Valle on the floor for Xavier, the freshman from Santiago, Chile. It's a great option to take it to the basket. Scarlett steps back and drains the triple.
Boy, if she can make some of those, that'll certainly bode well for Xavier.
After the sloppy start, UConn has hit its last 3 shots. Out to Ducharme. She hit from there and does again.
You could use any one of those you could get, or some of those old boards, to give yourself some extra possessions.
Valle, a lot of dribbling. Nice pass into the middle. And Shelby Calhoun, the junior from Louisville, rattles it in.
And that's the way to get yourself into space. Calhoun just redirects herself, finds the space, a good pass.
Xavier hanging around. You said, can they have a good first quarter? Everything out of the timeout. But that time they got the mismatch. Edwards on Calhoun. Backed her way back. Inside of 4 minutes here in the opening quarter. Edwards and a foul.
And Edwards just really establishing herself on the block and noticing that mismatch.
A foul on the inbounds. Lopez Senechal back to the free throw line, an 87% free throw shooter who has missed a pair here in the opening quarter. Actually, check it. She's staying on the floor with 2 fouls.
Now, I don't think Melanie Moore has a choice but to keep her on the floor. A great move to the basket from Ovalle. And this Xavier team has battled a lot of injuries too throughout the season, and they're one of the youngest teams in the league.
Edwards, the spot-up jumper.
It really only matters now as you enter March, how you start to play.
Lopez Senechal will get a seat over on the bench. Anna Patterson has great rebounds down the stretch to Paul. Scarlett for 3. Long rebound and UConn on the run. Mule, great find. Griffin the finish.
I just love the patience of Nika Mule.
She's on pace for more than 20 in the game and a foul, which will send Linnea Harris to the free throw line.
She plays with that chip on her shoulder. It's the kind of player Jen was.
Nika Mule tonight has passed Sue Bird for most single season assists in UConn history. Flies in for the offensive board.
And you just see how she tracked that board down. Just the little things that Aubrey Griffin does.
Edwards put her head down, got to the basket.
Oh, she's so tough. Those extra possessions will just kill you.
Valle, Pranger, cut to the basket. With deep positioning again, and this time an offensive foul.
Defends every other post in the league, the toughest post, so she's got that experience.
Addie got an open look and a find, and Xavier offensively on a 6-0 run. And a near steal from the freshman Addie to knock it out of bounds. And yes, they're giving up size on the inside. They don't have the strength inside maybe to battle with Aaliyah Edwards, but they are doing it on the other end.
She just wants them to battle, and battling they are.
Betancourt on the kick out. Ducharme. Shot clock turned off, and Xavier's got a chance to be in a 1-possession game after the end of the first quarter. Musketeers 0-19 in conference play. Ovalle hoists the three and banked it in. Well, much to the shock of this crowd, it's only a 2-point game after the opening 10 minutes. But then, senior day when they were honored over the weekend, the final game, her entire first grade class at Hyde Park Elementary, where she's student teaching, came to cheer her on over the weekend.
I just think that's just great. And what Coach Moore said about her, she's their glue player. She's been with her since year one at Xavier, a good person and player.
Now she's got a tough battle in the paint. She's not a Xavier team that has a ton of size. But they've got the ball with a chance to tie or take the lead here on the road in the second quarter. I mean, there's no way to otherwise around the fact that this is a massive surprise.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you go into this game thinking UConn is just going to come out really strong, and Xavier has come out really just unafraid and in attack mode, just like that. I mean, Ovalle done a good job staying positive. Coach Moore said that they've been reading the book, The Energy Bus, together. They've tried to stay positive. And they have not lost that will to want to win and compete. And you see how they're playing right now.
Well, offensively in the last couple of games, it hasn't showed in the amount of points.
But they've got to make shots. That's the area of improvement. You've got to obviously up your percentage at this point in the season.
Franger to the left hand, and Xavier's got a lead on UConn on the road. Timeout, Geno Auriemma.
In the paint, she's handling her own, and she's being very physical with post play of UConn, but very impressive start, Jason, for the Musketeers, just playing really hard.
I'll put this in perspective. They feel they've been playing much better the last 3 games, but they have not played a game where the final score is Edwards.
Every team is going to give their best effort when they face UConn, especially here at Gamble Pavilion. Got a great crowd here. But what I've liked so far about Xavier, they've taken the good shot, or I would say they've taken the better shot versus just the good shot. And that's something they've struggled with this season at times.
Griffin on the drive, and you feel a different energy out of the timeout.
And you know that Geno said a lot probably in that break.
Well, they were working on offense very heavily. And he was yelling at his players at practice today, take the shot. Sometimes he feels like they have been a little bit timid throughout the course of this season. Edwards on the steal. Woods trying to get back. And a blocking call. You thought that was a travel.
Thought maybe she traveled there before she got the call.
He's freshman of the year 2 years ago. On both sides of the floor. Splits the pair, and UConn up 3.
I thought that quote was interesting after their loss to St. John's.
Offensive foul, moving screen.
I'm not going to play today, but she's close. And to get her back, not sure how she'll be, but she'll be back. That's huge. Nice slip. Aubrey Griffith's so good without the basketball. I think St. John's is in. I mean, I really do. I think it's going to be one of the best years we've ever seen in a while from the Big East.
Ducharme finding Mule. Edwards, the offensive putback. And what a tap out. Shelby Calhoun to herself. A lot of speed, maybe a little out of control.
Now Mule coming out of the game. You don't have your point guard, your floor general in there, and things are not quite the same when she's not on the floor.
Yeah, Inês Betancourt on the floor, the freshman from Portugal. Played a little bit in the first quarter, had 4 minutes against DePaul. Calhoun on the take, and it's back to a 1-possession game.
Shelby Calhoun, the Virginia Tech transfer.
Lopez Senechal had to hit a 3 in this game, and she's fouled. It's on the pass.
And they've been able to be physical.
Now, to your point, the win against DePaul on Saturday snapped a streak of 5 straight games for UConn, failing to score 70. And Lopez Senechal rings up her first 3.
That much needed bucket.
Scarlett into traffic. Active hands for the defense. Pranger looking for a cutter. Tough pass. Ovalle, tough shot.
Xavier having a hard time getting good looks off these last few possessions. They've been in a bit of a drought here.
Hit just one of their last 7 shots. Couple that with the turnovers. That's how you get a 2-point lead into a 6-point deficit. Make it a 9-point deficit. And make it a timeout for Xavier. Dorka Juhas as well, the transfer from Ohio State. She celebrated senior night last year and then had the wrist injury in the Elite 8 win over NC State and decided to come back.
And you get these seasoned veterans on your squad, so the transfer portal, all that really can benefit teams. Now you can get really old teams, old and veteran.
Mule had 6 assists in the opening quarter. Yet to score. And now she'll have an opportunity to change that at the free throw line with 3 free throws. And she only needed 3 tonight to pass Sue Bird for that single season record. Now they are reviewing this. So 2 foul shots here. For UConn as Ducharme will check back in. So Xavier led by 2, 14-2 run for UConn over the last 7+ minutes. Musketeers need a bucket here. Smith working on Betancourt. She's in trouble. Woods for 3. And the shot clock's turned off. Crowd counting it down. Patterson beat the hold, and UConn ends the half on a 16-2 run after trailing by 2 early in the quarter.
What a play. That's the way to end the quarter.
Now they did, by the way, draw 3 fouls on Xavier's big in the first half, so that's certainly something to watch here early on in the third. Mule. They go right at her, and Edwards finishes. She's into double figures.
So much tenacity. Can Xavier keep up with them early?
Xavier's had some offensive rebounds, 5 in the first half. Edwards called for traveling. By the way, it was Taylor Smith who she ran over, who was trying to shake off her calf as she was going back down the floor, but she has the ball now, and she's shooting right away.
Yeah, that's the way to really come out and be strong and elevate over the defense. So she's got experience at this level.
Well, and earlier this year, she was shooting 35% from 3. That has not carried over. The block and a jump ball. Great defensive play by Pranger in the possession arrow to Xavier.
And forcing that opportunity back their way.
Foul called.
One of those coaches that expects the best at all times, and he'll tell you the truth.
And Michaela Scarlett traveled. Dorka Juhas, if you're just joining us, not playing tonight. She re-injured her ankle in the DePaul game, came back in that ball game to finish with 22 minutes. Meanwhile, they're taking a look at that left leg for Aaliyah Edwards. Sean rattles on the triple. Her 3rd 3 of the night.
Ducharme has really been making shots. That's what she does. She goes out and makes shots. Every time she shoots the ball.
Calhoun was run over. Scarlett, nothing called, and now they'll stop play.
With Calhoun, it looks like her elbow on the fall.
The majority of the end of the season for Shelby Calhoun. She was dealing with an illness earlier part of this season as well. Signed to Patterson. Pranger playing with those 3 fouls. Ducharme on the cut.
Backdoor cut. See, she's being overplayed, and that's the way that you shake the defense. Just go backdoor, and then the good look from Patterson, who's gotten some nice minutes here. You cannot fall asleep when you're defending. You got to get rid of the ball, too. And you're seeing a double team get rid of it. And this is what we've seen. They've had to play the shot clock down badly. And they're taking tough shots.
It's all contested. Harris, great find. Harkey, and she's got a bucket.
Awful way to take advantage of that situation. Maybe the easiest bucket they'll get. That's a wide open lane there. Lopez Senechal finding her rhythm.
Nyla Blackford, their senior, hasn't seen the floor yet. It's questionable earlier today, dealing with a rib injury. And some soft touch, some soft rims. Taylor Smith with the bucket. Ducharme. Now this was a 12-point game at the half and a foul. Going back the other way, and now a lot of emotions boiling over.
Some competitiveness.
Well, the officials are going to send both teams to their bench, and they're going to go to the monitor.
I think they're going to.
Yeah, they're going to go look at the monitor, which will give a chance for both teams to cool off. And this is what they are looking at. Now, this is what got it all started.
Yeah.
So they are looking at this. This was on the defensive end of the floor for Xavier. And then here's where it was called on the floor. Running down the floor, they call an offensive foul on Taylor Smith. And then a technical foul on Lou Lopez Senechal. And we're going to get an explanation here from Tiara Cruz.
So after review, we have confirmed the offensive foul against Blue 3. And afterwards, we have player substitute technical foul on White 11 for verbal misconduct.
Okay, but that all had to do with the play before and then a little give back down to the other end.
Yeah.
Just the competitive nature of the sport here. It goes to show that Xavier's
so the technical free throws here will be shot first for Michaela Scarlett. And there's no bonus here, so there's no free throws coming up for UConn. And she hit them both. Yes, there was the offensive foul, but then it also looked like Lopez Senechal was going at her legs with her legs.
It looked kind of like a natural fall. Yeah. It didn't look like it was a blatant trip. So I think they did the right thing. They looked back at the monitor. They saw Lou Lopez Senechal just got upset, and it was from the possession before that Lopez Senechal was annoyed.
And Edwards, maybe that'll spark some more emotions. Well, after a technical and a stoppage and the emotions boiling over, you never know who that's going to favor. But because of the multiple stoppages, kind of had a chance to let that cool down a little bit. It's knocked out of bounds. Harris saved it. Calhoun has it with 7 on the shot clock. Addy backing down Newell. Really tough shot. Griffin on the run. And a block from Harkey. She's playing 9 minutes so far and having an impact. She's got a bucket. She's playing well defensively.
And they have no choice but to put her in. She's got some size.
And she's got an assist to Calhoun.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, Calhoun has really been a gamer. Coach Moore told us she's their vocal leader as well.
Now, a lot of stories playing out here. Newell tough catch and Harkey with the foul.
That means they're a little tired.
A couple of free throws here for Nika Mule. And she hits the first. Mule hits them both. Haber had a 2-point lead early in the second quarter. UConn has pushed it to as many as 18. The Musketeers have not wilted if they can get a couple of good offensive possessions. Ovalle on the drive, got around in a nice lane.
Yeah, really great attacking from Ovalle.
He went for the steal. brought that down, and she traveled. Griffin in this game, she was holding her right wrist earlier. Look inside, and Woods finishes. It's back to a 10-point game.
That's a great job. Good cut to the basket.
Mule with the hard drive, scoops it up, and she's fouled. And she comes down holding onto her hand.
Both teams playing very physical.
Talk about how difficult offense has been to come by at stretches for both these teams. Nika Mule had 6 assists in the first quarter. UConn's offense was flowing. She has 1 since.
Numbers don't lie.
Shot clock turned off. Xavier trying to get some momentum in the game. They're hanging around here at the end of the third. Ovalle, hesitation, the drive. Edwards blocks it. It'll stay Xavier ball with 3.3 left in the quarter.
Great job with that block. She just uses her length.
Harris, tough shot. It's batted around. And that's how the quarter comes to an end. A 12-point lead at the half is a 12-point lead at the end of the...
I really think Xavier's done a pretty good job here. They've kept it close.
And close in a 12-point game is relative when you aren't talking about a team on an 18-game losing streak.
Yes, and a team that's already lost to UConn by close to 40 points earlier in the season. So I would say it's unexpectedly close.
They've got to grab one of those defensive rebounds. Mule. Huskies have a third shot at this. And Edwards banging bodies with Pranger, who did not pick up her 5th foul.
I do think Xavier has played well physically with UConn. They've bumped them around. They've been not afraid to mix it up.
Taylor Smith back on the floor. Sat most of the last part of that third quarter. And Naya Harris, tough drive. Jazz can't rattle it home. Nearly 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. Neither team has scored yet here in the fourth. Edwards, bodied, got it to go. She's got 13.
How to play for Edwards. She's just gotten so much better with her game, the way she can turn and face like a guard.
Scarlett on the other end. Well, you feel the effort. I mean, the effort to get to the rim by both teams. They're just struggling around the basket. UConn shooting just 40% from the floor tonight for the 3rd best shooting team in the country. But that is what you call high percentage.
That's who you want the ball. And that's a mismatch right there.
And Mule picks Smith's pocket. But missed the bunny.
2 layups in a row from Yule.
And now she's on the floor holding her face.
She's good. She's amazingly good. I mean, she wows you. Her competitive nature is what strikes me every time I watch Aaliyah Edwards play.
If you can't grab the offensive board, and UConn's got numbers. Trying to put this one away. Ducharme all alone. Now it's Xavier with a 4-on-1. Smith with the pull-up jumper.
Great decision right there.
But it has been a grind this entire conference season.
The perfect word, and the exact word I think Geno would say is the grind. And you know, he's stated that this is the toughest it's ever been. All these years he's coached. Listen, they're about to win the Big East championship. I mean, the regular season championship, that's a huge feat.
And 18-2 in conference play. If they can finish this off in the last 4-14. Kaylee Addy with a nice up and under. I like this freshman.
2 injuries as well, and playing in a strong conference with a lot of older players. Amazing.
Geno Auriemma takes over in 1985, and the rest is history. But you want to talk about the fact that, hey, one of the best programs.
And even the outfits and the way the jerseys have changed, it's so funny.
And Addy just rips it away from Betancourt. Now, they're not done here yet here. 3 minutes and change to go. It's a 12-point game. Knocked away from Calhoun, and Betancourt knocks it out of bounds.
Xavier continuing to use the pick-and-roll game, the penetration to the basket game. We've seen a lot of good buckets. Kaylee Addy getting to the rim that time.
Tough pass. Edwards the steal. Coast to coast. And might have just locked up an outright Big East title.
Big steal from Edwards.
As she has been by far their most consistent player tonight. Scarlett drills a three. If Musketeers can get a stop and a bucket, maybe put a little bit of pressure on UConn down the stretch. Lopez Senechal. There's Edwards. And a putback.
Edwards has been there. Rebounds, you name it. She's got 8 boards here on the night.
And some steal.
Wasn't out hurt or anything like that. She was just in foul trouble.
Timeout here taken to get a substitution into the ball game. A send-off here on senior night.
Oh, what a season she's had.
One minute.
That's not going to count for Geno Auriemma. Now, again, everybody finishing their final game tonight. UConn will be the 1 seed. Great look inside again. 9-point game, 42 seconds now.
That's just pretty poor defense there. Really easy look for Xavier.
Melanie Moore choosing not to foul here in a 9-point game. They hung tough with the conference champs, and now the foul called. Her squad has lost by double digits in every game in the month of February. We'll see if UConn chooses to shoot here. There is a 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. But if not, this is only a 9-point game. A kick out. Ewell does shoot the 3. And that is about what is set to wrap up the finish here. Xavier came in, gave UConn everything it could handle, but the night ends like all the last 10 years. An outright Big East title for Geno Auriemma and the UConn Huskies.